Hello, Anne Marie. Good evening. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I am trying to do the best I can. How are things in your neck of the woods, as they say? Good Lord, what's the phone thing? I think I'm catching the sniffles. I got up this morning before 5. Been a long day. And I'm just shy of 7 o'clock. Joseph Moore. Hello, Joseph. Hello, Holly Ivans. As I had said a couple of minutes ago, or I guess when I first came in, Anne Marie was waiting for me. I don't know that she's still here, but I had said that it had been a long day and I was tired. And then I said, how is it in your neck of the woods? And she hadn't responded. I could moan and groan about kids in the future. KP Heathen, welcome. So I'm sitting at 1,689, 11 shy of 1,700. When I get to 1,700 and I stay there for about 24 hours, I guess, I will assume that I'm at 1,700. And then I will go and I will look at the last 5 videos I've released, see who has left a like and a supportive comment on each of those 5. And if you're one of those people, then your name will go into a hat that I will draw from. And whoever I draw will be the 1,700 subscriber winner. Dunia, Bang, Jewel. Well, welcome, my friend from Indonesia. Yoda, you're going to pass me before you know it. Before you know it, you'll be up there with Bert at 20, 21, 22,000. I can remember 6 months or so ago, I was bigger than him. So that's the way it rolls. Mercy, welcome, Mercy. I get. I guess it doesn't help that the YouTube AI doesn't like me. I'm one of those horrible preparedness, gloom and doom. I'm one of those horrible people that are trying to, it's like the midnight ride of Paul Revere. Except instead of that, I'm saying the Democrats are coming. The Democrats are coming. Oh, hello, Melinda. How are you doing? Oh, God. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. 9 in the house and 6 likes. Oh, I'm tired. I'm yawning. So, thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you shouting them out for me. Right now, I'm at 25.3K views for the cycle. It's coming up. It's coming up. Hello, Uncle Al, thy bullfrog. And watch time is not where I want it to be, but it is what it is. It's at 499. And my last live had 117 views. And my last video is sitting at 41 views. And my last short, which is the one I dropped earlier in the day, not the latest one, was at 436 views. So 10 in the house, 8 likes. It is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just sitting here. It's like, how did I get where I'm at? How did I get here? What brought me down this road? The road traveled. I'm being silly right now. I'm tired, and I say silly things. I laugh at myself. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to have a sense of humor. People make me laugh. People make me laugh. And I don't know. I think about, going before God on Judgment Day and falling on my face and proclaiming sorrow for my sins, and acknowledging Him as I'm a fly and He's, He's God. I don't know. I don't know. So many people, like, I'm educated enough and I know enough to know that I know very little. And there are subjects that I know a great deal about. There are subjects and then there's stuff that I have no idea. I would BS my way through. There's no way that I don't know about a lot of different topics. And I've always considered myself an intelligent person, intelligent and well educated. But I'm reminiscing. Uncle Al says, "Don't do that. Don't reminisce. Stick to the script." I don't really have a script tonight. I don't have a script. And this is just me freelance. Mom of 4 boys, welcome. You know, people live their lives, and perhaps they've made a significant contribution to a group of people. Is there a Joshua in here? I didn't see Joshua. Of course, I'm not watching Joshua. Is there a Joshua? Hello, Joshua. I guess I'm blind. Pretermit days. Hello, pretermit days. Maybe somebody's seen something I'm not. How are you doing, retirement days? That's an interesting name for a channel. Pretirement. That means before retirement. Perhaps just a little while before retirement. It gives that implication. Did anybody else see a Joshua in here? Going back, going back, going back. I'm curious. I'm going way back. Joshua. Did Joshua come in, say hello, and then disappear? So sorry. I went back all the way to the beginning and I did not see a Joshua. Unless somebody's name is Joshua, I'm not familiar with it, their channel. Joshua Humphrey, did somebody see him? I don't see a quote from him, or I don't see hello from Joshua. He normally comes in and says something that's completely unrecognizable. I think he's related to the vice president. Some of the stuff he says is like gibberish. Hello, Black Widow. I'm over here having fun. I guess when I get tired. You do? All right, I'll take your word for it. Hello, Joshua Humphrey. If you're out there, leave me some more word salad. Let me know you care. Hillbilly, how's it going, Hillbilly Josh? So, as I said, was a long day at work, dealing with difficult kids. I will tell you this. Dealing with a difficult kid is like dealing with a difficult country. You have some of these little countries around, and in their area, they're a pain in the butt. And for whatever reason, they hate us. So they do what they can to be a pain in our butt. And we go along, and occasionally they do something and we have to get them. But we don't, we went into Iraq. Iraq is a sinkhole right now. It's a mess. Iran is majorly involved. Different players are involved. Russia's trying to be involved. Different groups are trying to be involved. We basically left a sinkhole, an expanding sinkhole. We dropped so much money. It was a money pit. We dropped so much money into it, so much resource. Uh, we gave so much blood there. And what do we have to show for it? Tell me, what do we have to show for it? Afghanistan is another one. We went into Afghanistan. What do we have to show for it? Except more debt. Crippled soldiers. Families that don't have their loved ones back because they were killed over there. Absolutely disgusting. Well, you got that one right. Hello, Mr. Whistle. I will tell you, sometimes when you meet the parent, you know why the kid's the way they are. They are just an older version of their kid. They're just an older version of the kid. I mean, I'm not a prophet. I don't have clairvoyance. I'm not worthy of any of that. I truly, I'm not. I'm not a holy man. I'm not worthy of that. But I can, you know, 62 years old, over 30 years in education, different roles. I have been around long enough, and I've seen enough to look at and know this is where this kid is going. This is where a kid is going. You can't tell their parent the way they're going now, less than 10 years from now, they're going to be in jail or they're going to be dead. You can't say that to a parent. You can't say that to a parent because you can't guarantee it. You can't guarantee it. But I've seen a lot of, and I've read a lot, I've watched a lot, and I've heard enough about people that were in school here or were in school when I was down in Corpus. My first 17 years in education was down in Corpus. And, I've seen kids that were challenged and they had help. And they might have been with a grandparent. They might have been with a parent. They might have been in foster care, or they might have been wards of the state or whatever. And they have a simple life and they're successful. They go to work, they get a disability check because they're special ed, and they were not the brightest tools in the shed, but they had a pleasant personality. They were respectful, and they were working. They would work. So they're bussing carts. They're picking up carts outside of a grocery store or some such. They're working as a greeter at a door. They're doing some simple custodial, working on a custodial team or custodian. And they're doing something to make a partial living for themselves. And they're contributing to society. I've seen that. I have got kids jobs like that. Way back in the day, while I was still a teacher, special ed. Hello, Wheat. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Wheat is a good man. If you're not connected to his channel, I encourage you to connect. He is a very good person. Hello, Utah Mike. I am not paying attention. It is my apologies that I'm not paying attention to greet you when we come in. I'm talking. I'm reminiscing and telling stories. Well, they released information about Matthew Perry. You remember Matthew Perry? Was it 90210 or whatever, Friends or whatever? I don't know. But he was real big in one of these, and I wasn't watching television, but I know he was in one of these shows that look relationship with several couples, and they're like in their late 20s or early 30s or whatever. He died. He was 54, 55 years old, 53, somewhere along there. Autopsy report came out, drug overdose. He had a diseased heart, but drug overdose. You know, a lot of people have a diseased heart and live to be 80. They take medication, they take care of themselves, they work their weight, they don't abuse themselves, and they can still live a long life. He drug overdose. And now they're in the process of trying to hold people accountable for what happened to him. Hello, Anne Marie. Welcome back. Well, a lot of younger people can't handle. They can't handle success. They can't handle money. If I all of a sudden hit the lottery and I was worth 10, 15 times what I am worth now, I would probably get my country home that I'm wanting to buy before I retire, or before I completely my retirement home. This is not what I consider to be my retirement home. It's not handicapped accessible and everything. I want a house, and I don't want to do remodeling again on this place. I want a new place where I don't have to worry about the roof. I don't have to worry about, anything. I just want to, get my lawn service to take care of the yard and not worry about it. But if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't go crazy, and I wouldn't be doing drugs, and I wouldn't be doing alcohol, and I wouldn't be smoking and doing all the things that I don't do now. You know. I would probably travel a little bit more than I do. I'm certainly not going to travel on a plane. I could own the damn plane. I still would travel on it. I'm not. You're not going to get me in the air. And I don't like boats. I mean, small boats. Go out in the lake, fish on the river. But you're not going to get me out on a cruise. No, that's not the way I roll. And if I travel, it's going to be by car. Car, truck, whatever. Just me. I'm old school. Uncle Al talks about those people who've never been more than 50 miles away from home. Well, I've been a lot more than I've been over 1,000 miles away from home. My father's family's back in Georgia, so I mean, I would go back there periodically and visit. Georgia, northern Florida. Going through. I love going to New Orleans. I love going to the river in San Antonio and the Riverwalk and River Center and the Mercado, and I used to love going down to Mexico. But that's all driving. I drive. But Was it me or somebody else, Wheat? Well, yeah. I I have two daughters. My first wife, we got divorced. She cheated on me. Oh, and it did not end well. And she had custody, and I had visitation, and she moved, and it was difficult. And as an adult, I really don't have much of a relationship with my kid. She texts me sometimes. We talk on the phone, but I don't see her. She lives 5, 6 hours from where I live. And she reaches out sometimes. She knows that her mother was wrong, and from what she tells me, her mother regrets. Talks to her about regretting her life and decisions that she made. Type stuff. But I have my daughter from my second marriage with me, and she's the love of my life, and I'm very proud of her. She just got her master's, and not to say that the other kid is a teacher. She uh, did her student teaching, and now she's teaching. But my the daughter who's been with me, she finished her master's degree in clinical counseling in December. She's got a bachelor's in psychology. She passed her exam for her license, and now she just has to have her 3,000 hours, which she's got some of them. Got to get 3,000 supervised hours up, and then she can apply for her permanent license. And and then the going rate's very nice, as far as counseling and such. And you can do Medicaid, billing, the government billing and such, and you can do Zoom or Skype or whatever. You don't have to be there with them, or you can. They can come to your office, or you can basically do distance stuff. And you're billing at over $100 an hour. You spend 45 minutes talking to them, and you just got 15 minutes to do the paperwork. So you can make a very comfortable living without really killing yourself. And that's what I want for her. That's what I'd want for both of them. So, I didn't get married until I was past 30. I wasn't, I don't have any illegitimate kids, and I didn't have any kids in my, the 20s or anything. I was past 30. And my baby's 26, and very proud of her. I tell her all the time, we talk, we go out and get Starbucks. I get a Frappuccino or I get a coffee, and she, we bring mom something. Hello, Nita's Cooking Show. How are you doing? But I guided her into what she did. I was her principal. I was a principal, and Dad was there for her. And Dad, she always had money, and she had a car, and I basically pay her bills. She was working, and then she stopped working, and she's planning on going to work. Got to get those hours in. She stopped working for 4 or 5 months, 6 months maybe, to study for her test. She needed to make a 91. She made a 96. So she got her, very proud of her. Well, everybody has issues. Everybody has issues. So, I've read enough about great men and great women. They had issues. They were strong, but they had issues. I have issues. I have issues with things that, it really, losing my hair really bothered me. I mean, occasionally I will put up a picture of myself when I was like 30. It really it really hit me losing my hair. It really hit me. Um, my father dying of a brain tumor from tobacco usage. You know, my father was born in 1913, and he was the eldest child of 9. His youngest brother, my uncle Howard, who passed away a few months ago, he died just shy, a couple of months shy. He would have been 94 in June. His older brother Lucian lived to 94. He had his mind, you know, he was half blind, couldn't hear, but he had his mind. And he fell and hurt himself. Two of my aunts, two of my mother's sisters, died just shy of 90. Both of them had accidents and hurt themselves. My aunt Margaret was a couple of weeks shy of 90 when she passed. Aunt Lily was about 89 and a half. And both of them had real bad accidents. Fell off the porch and hurt themselves. You know, really hurt themselves in the hospital. And it brought on dementia. It fast tracked, brought on dementia. And they didn't live very long. But back in the days, people really didn't know about tobacco usage. We didn't have the medical knowledge, the technology. We didn't have blood pressure medication. We didn't have, you know, most of the technology that we've developed in the last 150 years. But then all of the pharmaceutical stuff we've developed a lot sooner than that. You know, when my father's father passed away in 1932, he was 49 years old, and he died of what was called Bright's disease. Bright's disease was what they used to call high blood pressure. They didn't have blood pressure medication, and they really couldn't treat it. And he was very affluent. He smoked. He ate well. He was a little overweight. And he had a heart attack and he died. He's 49 years old. My father, he took blood pressure medication. They had blood pressure medication when he was up at, you know, in age. I used to remember he take blood pressure medication. But the last couple of years of his life, he started having a lot of headaches. He'd go to the doctor and he had polyps in the nose and, you know, what all. And, you know, and you just take aspirin, and he had a brain tumor, malignant brain tumor. They didn't find it until it was too advanced, and they operated on him. He didn't wake up from surgery. And when I was a lot younger, I used to have headaches. I don't know if it was caffeine withdrawal or too much caffeine or whatever. But I used to have a lot of headaches, and I used to always think I was traumatized, you know, post-traumatic. Am I going to die of a brain tumor? I was 14 years old. Will I live to be 20? Will I live to be 30? By the time I got into my 30s, I didn't worry about it because, you know, I never smoked. I didn't do any of the things that my father did that possibly could have contributed to it. And then, you know, he had 2 younger brothers, full brothers, and they didn't have any problems. So I got over that. You know, I got over it. Worked my way through. I used to go through counseling when I was a teenager, you know, for it. Really kicked my butt. Did anybody else sneak in on me? Buying Space. How you doing, Buying Space? I'm not paying attention. I'm just talking. I am reminiscing. We can say that this is a counseling session for me, and maybe I owe you people something. You stick with me long enough, and you'll wind up on the list, and I'll wind up probably sending you something. I like to send out preparedness stuff. If you look at some of the boxes and some of the videos I've done of stuff I send people, yeah, I pray for Uncle Al every day. Uncle Al and I are about the same. He might have a year on me. I pray for him. Devil Dog Prepper had a brain tumor. He had a malign or benign tumor wrapped around his optic nerve. Had it removed. God bless him. That was horrible. Very painful. He was still suffering pain, recovering, having to go through more tests and everything. And he's a younger man. I got about 20 years on him, but he's already got grandkids. It's like, shoot, you get people having kids when they're young. It's the way it used to be. If you were more fluent, a lot of times you wouldn't marry till a man wouldn't marry till he was 30, and he'd marry a woman that's 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And take care, Uncle Al. God bless you. Thank you for coming in. And that's the way things were. A man was supposed to be established or be able to take care of a family before he got married. And then the wife was the homemaker, raised the kids. And you'd have big families because, one, you didn't have birth control, you didn't have television, didn't have a lot of entertainment options. And you want a big family to take care of the farm, take care of the ranch, to help out. When they get up a certain age, they could start doing chores. Help provide and such. But so talking about preparedness. Last night I was talking about minor emergencies, minor SHTFs. Are you ready for minor SHTFs? So, like, most of these, excuse me, always turn your head and cough into your arm or try to block it. When you sneeze, that sneeze could be traveling at 100 miles an hour. The germs coming out of you could be traveling at 100 miles an hour and could travel 50 feet. This business about social distancing 6 feet, that was a bunch of BS. A lot of the stuff I read said 15 feet. And then they settled on 6 feet. So then they'd put the little feet down. You go to the store and you'd have a line and they'd have 6 feet in between and they have a little feet here. You stop here. Like the same thing at the post office. They have a little, to keep you at some distance from each other. And I've read a lot about that. The sickness that we had for a period of time in the school closings, it really laid the kids back academically. The kids this year that came into 6th grade, they're way down from where they need to be. Most of them are way down from where they need to be. So, when you look at how things are and what all, then you start looking at quartiles. Okay, so your top quartile, they're basically where they need to be or a little bit above. Those are the ones that are going to go to college, they're going to go to medical school, they're going to go to law school, they're going to go to graduate school, they're going to be accountants and professionals, and they're gonna, the brighter, the above average IQ kids. And that's your top 25% or so. 20%, 25%. And then you have the next quartile, and they're going to be okay. They're going to they're going to take care of themselves, and they're going to be productive members of society and everything. Then you get to the third quartile, and they're going to struggle a little more. They're going to struggle, and they'll need a little help probably. Their parents, if they parents can help them, the government, whatever. Then you get to that bottom quartile. The bottom quartile. Oh, they're going to be a real. I don't need to really go into it. You meet some of them. You're around some of them. You may be distantly related to them by marriage, or, God forbid, whatever. And that part of society's growing. There's more of them now. You get responsible people. They're having a couple of kids. They're not quite keeping their percent of the population. You're losing a little bit with these groups. Yes, some of them have more than 2 kids. They have 3, 4, 5 kids. Some of them, a few of them. A lot of them have 1 kid. They don't have any kids. They might have 2 kids. So that group's shrinking a little bit. And then you get the people who really shouldn't have any kids, and they're having tons of kids. And they're not really able to take care of them. And I'm not really paying attention to who's here. Cruising Seed, how you doing, Cruising Seed? And Belinda. How's it going, Belinda? I'm not paying attention, I'm talking. Domino Caden, how's it going? Ten in the house, 20 likes. Do I have allergies? I don't know. I think maybe I got a cold. I don't know. Maybe I got allergies. I was tested a long time ago and I didn't. Maybe I do now. You know. I have no idea. I really don't. Yeah, I got the sniffles. I got a kid at school sitting close to me. I think he's got a cold or something. I may have what he has. Excuse me. Damn. I don't know. I really don't. Ragweed. I don't know. I've got a cousin that's got a lot of allergies. She's 82. She helped raise me. She used to change my diapers. She was in college when I was born, 20 years older than me. My mother's little sister. So I could really be 20 years older than I am. My oldest first cousin turned 90 on my mother's side from the oldest sister. 90 years old. Here I am, 60. I'm sort of the baby. I've got I've got two cousins that are like a year younger than me. Well, actually, one of them's the second cousin. And then I do have one first cousin from my mother's baby brother, he was a change of life baby. And the brother. And then he has a kid. You know, he's about a year and a half younger than me. Well, and see, that's another thing. If you have issues when SHTF happens, you better have plenty of tissue, toilet paper, wet wipes, toothpaste, toothbrushes, mouthwash, deodorant, soap, bar soap. You better have all that stuff in quantity, something to last. Maybe a while before you can get any more of it. It's all part of being prepared. It's not just water and canned foods. And you better stock up on your medication. Get as much of it as you can. If you take maintenance medication, build up a stock of it if you can. You might not be able to get it. Got to think about those kind of things. Muy importante, very important. Very important. Well, God bless you. You have asthma. I guess you have an inhaler. My daughter from my first marriage had asthma as a child. Used to have to use a nebulizer. And she had an inhaler. Albuterol. I remember that. She grew out of it pretty much. Grew out of it. I'm glad you're stocked up on everything, Holly. Now, I want to talk a little bit about self-defense for a minute. And just one of these days, I'll break out a shotgun and I'll show you a pump shotgun. I can give you advice on a couple of, different ones. One, you don't want to spend a lot of money. Go over to Walmart and get yourself a 20 gauge pump shotgun. Something that'll hold 4-5 rounds in the tube. You should be able to get one for under $200 right now. It won't be like super name brand or anything, but it'll be a decent gun. And then either use triple-aught buck or get you some like 4 or 5 shot. Get you several boxes of it. You can put a sling on it so you can carry it. You can also put a sleeve on it on the end of the stock that'll hold an extra 6 rounds. So COPD, God bless him. God bless him. I have known people who had that. My mother's father was in his early 70s and died of emphysema. He was a lifelong smoker, and he talked my mother and father into stop smoking back in the late 50s. He died 59. So after he died, they stopped smoking. Now, my father kept chewing tobacco, but he stopped smoking. And apparently that affected their fertility because having been married for 21 years, I was born, and I'm an only child. So it affected somebody, and I was a late life baby because my father was 50 and my mother was 40 when they had me. It's part of the story, I was also a C-section baby. My mom did not give me by natural birth. They did a C-section. Back in the day, they do an up and down. They didn't do a side by side and do what they call a bikini. They did an up and down on her. And didn't have any more after me. I'm sure it losing my mother. My mother was very close to my grandfather. I heard stories. He'd come over once a week and visit. He'd bring her a little bit of candy because she had a sweet tooth. He'd bring her candy and give her money. My mother and my Aunt Lily were the favorite children. All that and his baby boy. That was the boy. The two older girls were sort of like the outcasts, the family. They were very independent, older. Aunt Margaret moved away and lived in the state of Washington, way up north. And she came and visited every few years. She'd come and visit for a couple of weeks and she'd go back. And for whatever reason, she had a falling out with her father, and, you know. So I would, for self-defense, I would have a 12 gauge shot. I mean, or 20, excuse me, a 20 gauge shotgun. You could get a 12 gauge shotgun, and the ammunition for a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge shotgun is about the same thing. I would not get a 410 because the ammunition is going to be about 3 or 4 times as much. A lot more expensive, and it's harder to get the ammunition. For whatever reason, it's harder to get it. But I'd get a 20 gauge shotgun, and then my second gun would be a 38 revolver, 6-shot revolver. And you can get speed loaders. I'd get one with a 3-inch barrel. If you want a 4-inch, you can get a 4. I would not get a snub nose. I'd get at least a 3-inch barrel. And I'd go and take it, practice, learn to shoot it. You know, and I'd keep it loaded with hollow points. And I'd have a couple of speed loaders, which I do. I have my mother's Lady Smith, and I got a couple of speed loaders. It was my mother's gun, so it's very sentimental value, and that's my carry. That would be my carry weapon. And I do have a nice Smith Wesson 9mm, 15 round, you know, in the magazine. I got a couple of spare magazines for it, stainless. I mean, that'd be their version of a combat weapon that somebody in the military would carry, but the military didn't adopt that. You know, it was presented when they tested for it, but they didn't adopt it. And it's a quality weapon, you know. But, you know, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about self-defense. Another thing is, if you don't want a pistol, get pepper gel or pepper spray. Pepper gel, pepper spray. Or bear spray, as far as that goes. You know. Watch out where you're at and the way the wind's blowing. You better hit them in the face. Or you can get a taser. You know. But I like a 20 gauge. You can clear a house. You don't have to be the most accurate in the world. Trust me. If you don't hit them, they're running the opposite direction. There'll be SHIT on the ground to prove it. During World War I, when we got involved, a lot of our men used 12 gauge pump shotguns. They were called them trench guns. Oh, the Germans were raising hell with the Geneva Convention, Geneva. All that, they were mad as hell and scared as hell of those American pump shotguns, 8 shotguns. You hit somebody with one of those, they're gone. And they didn't have body armor. They had those helmets that they had. They had decent helmets, but they didn't have body armor. You hit them, you kill them. You know, make a big hole. Because, you're dealing with those 12 gauge buckshot. You got these pellets, each of them the size of a pistol round, and they got like 12, 13 pellets, in a nice little pattern. Oh, yeah, you're going to kill them. They raised unholy hell about that. They did not want that. And, under the Geneva Convention, you don't use hollow points, you use ball ammunition. So whether it's pistol or rifle, you're using full metal jacketed ammunition. You're not using hollow points that expand. Part of Geneva Convention. Good night, Holly. And thank you, Belinda. You be safe. Yeah, people steal. That's another thing. You got a garden. They can come in right when your stuff is, before you pick it, and they can come in at night and rob you blind, from your garden. And yeah, if you've got a significant garden, something where you could actually live off of it, that'd be a hell of a lot they'd have to take. But if you only have limited, you got a couple of tomato bushes, and they can come in there and they can clean them out. Come in, cut your okra, cut your squash, cut your peppers, whatever. Go in there and rob you when you're not around. You've gone for a couple hours. Go in there and rob you. I think that's where I'd have a trail camera. Hope they're not wearing masks. It's horrible. So people are taking bets right now. Well, thank you, Holly. Yeah, fence and cameras. Having a couple of dogs, good-sized dogs, they'll let you know somebody's around. They'll also discourage people from coming. Got to think about stuff like that. But it is what it is. So I do need to mention again, I am having a 1,700 subscriber giveaway. And in order to qualify for my 1,700 subscriber giveaway, and I talk about it and I mention it in all my videos, in the description of all my videos, please leave a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos that I've released when I hit 1,700. I'll take that last video and I'll write down all the names, and then I'll start backtracking 4 videos. You either get a check or you get crossed out. And when I get to the point where I'm at the end, those names are going to go in a hat. I'll do a drawing. It'll be on videoed. Whoever wins will get a box from me. It'll be a nice box and stuff I give out. Plus, it'll have a nice first aid kit in it. Hello, Idaho Garden Girl. You coming in really late, and I'm getting ready to say goodnight because I've got to work in the morning. I've got to get up about 5 o'clock. So, as I always say, I get up in the morning. I thank God for the day that I woke up and I have another day. I say the Lord's Prayer, I drink my coffee, I take my medication, I contemplate the day, get cleaned up, go to work, try to do the best I can, and I come home. I appreciate those who support me. I try to support those who support me when I can with my time constraints. I try to give back my goodie boxes and support that I give is my way to try to give back. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I live by example. I try to teach. Teaching is a ministry. And I'm blessed. I'm a big sinner, but I accept the Lord as my Savior. And I try to do better than I did when I was a kid. So I will try to be back tomorrow at 7 for another edition of Coffee Talk. And please come back after this video is over. Leave a comment. If you missed it, might want to watch some of it. If you missed it, I didn't show any preps today that I got in, but if you want to look at yesterday's or the day before, those last two live streams, about the first 15 or 20 minutes of them, I showed a lot of food items that I had bought, sets of food items that are a good deal, and I talk about them, and it might behoove you to look at those, because this is a good deal. You can get a 5-pack of variety pack of Hormel Completes, 5 for $10 on Amazon with Prime, free delivery, and $2 a meal. That's pretty good. Those report pouches, you know, that's a good meal, and you get a variety of them. I bought several cases recently, and they'll last for a couple of years, and you put them in a rotation. I don't eat the school food this year because I don't really know. They're having a lot of problems with doing the school food this year. They got a new cafeteria managers. They're trying to work their way through. Anyway, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, my friends. Please come back tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Be in prayer for Uncle Al, Alan Sato Di Bullfrog. Be in prayer for Wanda, Belinda's friend. Be in prayer for Devil Dog Prepper, who had surgery for a tumor here recently. Just, you know, pray for a better day. Pray for wisdom. Pray for things go better. I pray for your family. And everybody, please have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, for another... Wilma. Yeah, Wilma. I'm sorry. And everybody have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.